Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to Heart of the Gala podcast. Again, my name is Bobby D, and I'm so excited that you are here watching or listening with us here today, because today is the most important conversation that we are going to be having for the rest of the year. Well, actually, we have one more conversation coming up, and I want you to be a part of that, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Today, it's all about getting that progress behind the paddle, getting the purpose behind the paddle, putting the power behind the paddle to help your donors, to help your guests at your nonprofit gala be more involved, be more engaged, and to be more generous, to be able to give, and to help you as a nonprofit fundraising professional some time back, and to eliminate that stress that happens with all the other stuff. We're going to help you with that here today. But yes, my name's Bobby D. You can follow me on Instagram at Bobby D Auctioneer, and follow us on Instagram with I Inspire Hearts as well too. I'm live on I Inspire Hearts right now. Hi, all there, Instagram. Good to see you out there, friends. And yeah, if you've got any questions, please email them in, put them in the chat, wherever. We want to be able to help you and answer all of your questions, because I know there's a lot of questions when it comes down to this. Paddle raise only events. Paddle raise only events. What are they? Well, a paddle raise only event is an event that you only have a paddle raise at. No raffles, no auctions, paddle raise focus. I mean, there are some events that will have some smaller fundraising elements in the cocktail, or what we like to call the connection hour, and that's good. But the main fundraising, the focus of the fundraising for that event is the paddle raise, is the fund the need, is the cash call, is the big ask, is the live appeal. I mean, there's so many different names for it. And ultimately what it is telling a story, making the pitch, making the ask, and getting everyone that is at the event involved with the fundraising and with the generosity and with the community that's coming together to do something absolutely amazing. And we've noticed, when I say we, me and my partner Aaron, we've noticed that there's a trend that's happening in the fundraising world. And we saw this in 2018 when we founded Inspire Hearts Fundraising, that there are events that just want to do paddle raises, that an auction might not be appropriate, a raffle might not be appropriate, or maybe it's a smaller timeline that you were looking for. Maybe it's a smaller, more expedited program that you're trying to make happen, or maybe you only can capture the attention of your donors for like 15 minutes and you got to do some fundraising in that, or you don't want to go after all of those silent auction items, or those raffle items, or those gift certificates, or all of those things that take hours and hours and hours and return you like $25. Yeah, no, let's get into it. Let's get into philanthropy, fundraising, raising that money at the event. Now, I've got the key elements of a live appeal only event. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 P's, right? Preventative preparation prevents piss poor performance. No, not that. It's prepare, people, program, purpose, pitch, paddles, and party. And if we can hit all of these different elements and maximize the opportunities with these different elements, you're going to have a great paddle raise only event. So preparation, you have to prepare. You have to set together this event that you're going to have. Some people are calling it the anti-gala or the ungala, that it's not full of pomp and circumstance and honorees and awards and all of those crazy things. It's about fundraising. It's about storytelling, and then inviting the audience to be able to be a part of your mission, inviting all of those donors to be a part of the impact that you're making out in the world. So you have to prepare for that. And the way that you prepare for that is definitely working with your fundraising MC, your fundraising consultant, your event planner, whomever is involved within the timing and the programming of the event, to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that this is the plan, this is what we're going to implement. So prepare, and you have to plan for that. And within that preparations, you definitely have to build and design what I call the golden goosebump moment. Now, the golden goosebump moment is so important. That's the moment of the night of the event when everyone is on the edge of their seats and they've got their paddles ready and they're ready to go and they want to do it and they want to make it happen and they want to, yes, I want to give $1 million or give $5,000 or give whatever it is. But that's that moment right before, when everybody's feeling it and the room's ready to act. And that's what we're doing, is preparing for that golden goosebump moment and identifying where in the program or where in the night that can happen, where you're going to have the most focus, that you're going to have the most energy, and then you're going to have the most engagement from your audience. Now, it's not at the end of the night. Sorry to burst your bubble. It's not after that. Everybody's had a ton of drinks. It's you got to get them when they're about 1.4, 1.7 drinks in, and it's early in the program. I always have a adage with galas, especially fund and eat only events, is like, let's fundraise first, and we're going to party later. And that is our last P, and you have to have a great party to have a great paddle raise only event. So in that preparation, storytelling, building up, finding that testimonial story, that testimonial speaker. You might already have a testimonial video or a mission video, and it's time to talk about fundraising. Thank you, phone. It's you have that mission story that's already built. You might have that, you might not, and you have to create that and identify that. Someone that has been directly impacted by your mission, by your programs, by your people, by your volunteers, that has been infected and has positively affected their life. Now, you might be a health and human services organization. You might be a land trust or conservation group. You might be looking for a cure for cancer. You might also be a private school or whatever it is. Any of the other nonprofit missions that are all super awesome that are out there that are filling so many gaps these days. Whatever it is, that testimonial, that story, you've got to build it up to really showcase, like, this is the impact our organization is having with the generosity of you all, the donors that are in the audience. And it's that equation. It's the A plus B equals C. It's the donors' dollars plus your mission and programs is going to equal impact and equal results. So identifying your story, preparing that story is such a big piece there. But you also need to prepare your room. You need to prepare people to be able to be generous, prepare people to have that opportunity to give when the inspiration strikes them. So in that preparation, you have to have a very good registration system. Now, there's so many different tech systems that are out there. We've got a few of our favorites. We'll be talking about our friends at One Cause. We've got something big coming up in the new year with them. But groups like that can help you with your registration, that can make sure that you get the paddles from everybody in their hands and make sure that this number is attached to this person so that when they raise their paddle, you're going to get the payment. There it is, another P. Got to get the payment and get the donation within that. So that's a big part of preparation, but also preparing your donors to know that this is a fundraiser, that this is what we're doing. This is the method of fundraising that we are going to be having. Because so many times people are like, oh, when's the auction? Oh, we're not having an auction this year. I'm sorry. The funniest story that I have from that is there was a volunteer who came to me after an event that used to have a giant silent auction, and now they just did a paddle raise, and they're like, well, we missed the silent auction. We used to get such great deals. That's not what you want to hear at your event. You want people to be bidding lots of money on their auction items and raising the paddles and all of that. So that's when we know we've done something right, creating a transformational giving opportunity. So by doing that, you can definitely put in your marketing, in your invitations, that there's going to be a program, that there's going to be a live ask, there's going to be a paddle raise, and then this is what we're going to be fundraising for. You definitely have to put the fab in your marketing, and we talk about that in a whole nother episode, but it is really fundraising activities and benefit. Who does this fundraising benefit? And to really tell that story. So preparing your audience and putting images of paddles up is a great way to showcase, like, this is what we're going to be doing. Putting images up in the connection hour, the cocktail hour, about the mission speaker that's out there, and kind of teasing that story a little bit, or teasing other stories of impact that you've had over the year. You can definitely put those in that connection hour. So you have to prepare that. You have to prepare your donors. You again also have to prepare your volunteers. You have to prepare your staff. You also have to prepare your speaker, the person that is going to be making that presentation that is talking about your testimonial. But then you also need your fundraiser to be able to be prepared as well too, giving them the stats, giving them the information, giving them the stories, so that as they're moving through the different fundraising levels, they're able to pick up and read the audience and make the right appropriate comments at the right time that will inspire more giving. So that's your preparation. So people is the key. Well, is one of the keys to a paddle. Well, no, it is. If you don't have people, you're not going to have a paddle raise. You got to have people and you got to have paddles. So you have to have people. You have to have individuals that are in the room that have two elements. Now, two elements are they have the connection to the cause. Like they love your organization or they love what you're doing. They love the impact you're having. So they have to have the connection and they also have to have that capacity to give. Now, you could have someone that just like is so caring of all the little animals that are out there in the world, but might not have that capacity to make a donation. Now, there are opportunities for them to make a donation at a lower level. We want them to be involved because, again, we want everybody to be involved. But it's looking at who you were inviting to this event and who your board members and who your committee members are inviting to the event as well, too, and preparing them for success as well, too. So you have to have connection and you have to have capacity. That's the number one thing that you're going to need with the people that are there. But then also, again, preparing people that this is what the program's going to be. We're going to have a paddle raise, lots of peas today. So having that ready to go. And then program. Now, we talked about program, preparing your program, but you need to have a very tight, smooth, and rehearsed program so that every minute that you're on the stage or whomever's on the stage matters. Because every minute that you have, let's say you want to raise $100,000 and you have 20 minutes on stage. I mean, that's what? $5,000 a minute? And everything that's said needs to really help to make that $5,000 a minute happen. And if you're blah, 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 that's money that's flying out of the window. So looking at that program of, what is your opening number? What is your opening remarks? How are you going to capture the attention? You can definitely use a video. You can definitely use a testimonial speaker, but you need that big bang to, again, capture that attention of everyone that's in there. And then there is the welcome, the why we're here. This is what we're here to do. And then storytelling, we talked about that. You have to have that. Storytelling happens. Fundraising happens after that. Paddle raise, different levels, starting at wherever. We'll talk about that in a second. But then also afterwards, what is that party that you're going to try to cultivate afterwards? Because many times when when a community comes together, that you are going to have a group of people that are raising their paddles, and they're a community that wants to do amazing things. They want to do magical things, that they also want to celebrate that at the end. So that's the party that you have to also plan for within your program. And a program for a paddle raise only event could be as short as 15 minutes. I mean, you have to be very effective in your storytelling, and you have to have someone that's an effective fundraiser to help you with that. And it's so important for that. But we're seeing anywhere between 25 and 45 minutes of a full program. If some people want to include some honorees, or if they want to include some sponsorship recognition, some different things that are within that. But about 35 minutes is about the realistic time that you have within that, because your storytelling's going to be about 3 to 5 minutes. The actual paddle raise will be about 12 to 17 minutes. And then you're leading in and then you're leading out. That's going to be the program. And you want to design that. You want to create that. You want to be purposeful within designing that. And now the next P, purpose. You have to have, what is the purpose? Why are we doing a paddle raise? Like, what is our goals with this? Is it to raise a lot of money? Yes, you want to raise a lot of money. Is it to engage more donors? Yes, you have to make it easy for your donors to give. Is it that energy that you're trying to create in the room? Yes, people are going to remember how they felt at the event. Are you trying to find new donors? Yes, you can do that as well too. Do you have sponsors that you really want to showcase? Yes, you can do that too. There's so many different elements that you can do within a paddle raise only event, and that's your purpose. And coming in with that strategic plan ahead of time is so very, very vital. So next component within that is the pitch. You have to have someone that is going to make the pitch. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it again. If you are a free presenter, MC out there, and you have never done this before, you have no business in doing this. If you are an experienced fundraiser and you know how to make the ask, and you know how to read an audience, and you know how to go through the different levels, and you know how to tie in the impact messaging and the missing messaging and the testimonials, and able to know when to say when, then you're probably a good person to be doing this. But if this is your first time ever doing this, don't do it. Please, please don't do it. If you're an organization that is considering utilizing a free local celebrity, a MC, a DJ, a funny uncle, a board member that thinks they're great on the microphone and watches a lot of comedy on YouTube, yeah, no, that's not who you want, because that person, whomever that is holding your microphone, has your entire event success in their hands. And why would you risk that on anything but the best for your donors? Okay, Rant, soapbox, over. We talk about this all the time. Hire a professional, hire someone that knows what they're doing and they know how to do this. And they have done it before. And experience is so key for an event just like yours, especially in a paddle raise only event, because you only have so many minutes that are within there. So that person needs to know how to make the pitch. They need to know how to move from that golden goosebump moment, move from that testimonial, and then making that appropriate pitch. Moving into that pitch to say, friends, this is that time we're going to gather together and make those gifts that's inspirational for you. And your asker has to have that polish. They have to have that presence that's within that. And then they have to have that drive to make that pitch. And you, again, back to the first P, preparedness. Have some prepared donors that are in the audience, people that are ready to raise their paddles. They're ready to go. You want to be able to have them out there that are ready to go. Now, some people call them plants. Some people call them shills. They're not shills. It's very derogatory. Pre-secured gifts is some way that we can talk about them, but it is having prepared donors that are ready to go, because we have a saying, more paddles in the air equals more paddles in the air, and the more paddles you have in the air, more paddles you are going to get into the air. So that's where you're also going to prepare your board and prepare your committee within that, to once the pitch is made, their paddles are going to be going up. All right, rewinding again. You have to have the paddle. You have to have the paddle. This tool right here has raised millions, if not billions of dollars. No, it is billions of dollars. Every day of the week, paddles are being used because it's the most effective and efficient way to fundraise at a live event. Yes, I know there's so many technology companies out there that have giving available on the phones, and it's good. And I'm glad that that's there, because there's individuals that are out there that do want to make gifts anonymously, and they want to give through their phone. Or maybe they want to give it a level that I didn't mention. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yes, you got to have the paddles. And friends, this is the perfect design of a paddle. It is big black numbers on a white background with very bold, easy to read font. I don't want any of this Sharpie where people are writing on there the numbers, because these numbers mean something. These numbers are your donors' recognition. We're going to recognize everyone individually because everybody has a number, and their number is tied to the system. Their number is tied to the credit card, very much as if you were going to go to a casino. But this number is so very, very important. And this is a true tool of philanthropy right here. When someone feels that inspiration and they want to make that reactionary gift, they can, and all they need to do is raise that paddle, and then your fundraiser will then read off that paddle number and recognize that donor, thank them for the giving, and then we're going to keep going on, and hopefully we can engage 100% of the audience. And everyone in the room needs a paddle as well too. I don't care if they come as husband and wife, they each need a paddle. There has been many times we get to the paddle raise and it was one of our prepared givers, and they were in the restroom or they were in the back BSing with somebody else. And all right, friends, we're at the $25,000 level. Where's my friend that's going to give it the $25,000 level? Now, if the significant other would have had the paddle, they could raise the paddle. So you want to be, again, P's, prepared. Have the paddles ready to go and have that conversation with your prepared givers. It's time to go, and they know when that's going to happen. They're going to be a part of that pitch, and they're going to be within that. But yes, you need to use paddles. If anybody needs a printer, I have a fantastic printer. They can print these super quick. They can get turnaround. I think it's like 2 days. They can get them shipped out to you, but you got to act fast. Let me know if I can help you with that. I will definitely make an intro. So from the paddle raise, from the different levels, from all of that, you want to, again, encourage, and sometimes you can incentivize donors to give. There's matching gift opportunities. There's incentive giving opportunities. There's different ways that you can really encourage your donors to be a part of this. Now, again, we're talking about transactional fundraising, but there's still those that are rewind. Now we are talking about transformational fundraising at an event, not transactional. Transactional would be auction, raffles, different things like that. Give to get. Transformational is give to give, give to impact. So because we're making this transformational opportunity to give, not everyone thinks on that same wavelength, and sometimes there are transactional givers that you can inspire to give by having some of these inclusive or encouraging giving opportunities that are there. So all the fundraising is done. You've had 100% participation. You broke fundraising records in a very short amount of time, very, very short amount of time. You now have to celebrate that. That's where the party comes in. That's where you have to have the big closing number. This is a great night. You don't have to announce the dollars that you have raised. To some organizations, that is very important. So you have to work with your fundraising MC and your event strategist to find out if that's appropriate. Because there are some times where people want to make that big announcement and it's not the right place to make that announcement. But there are some audiences and donor groups that are very motivated by having that $1 million goal and exceeding that goal, or having that big number that comes up on the screen. That's that place that they're really looking to go with, and you can celebrate that and have that party, because with a paddle raise only event, you are being efficient within your fundraising and you have a very short program. So you're building up front the connection hour, and then after that, this is your party. This is another connection hour. This is a chance to really celebrate the giving of what has happened within the room, this community coming together and making magic happen, making impact happen, doing amazing things as a village. And that village, they want to celebrate that, and they want to rub elbows again. Maybe they've seen someone in the room that they didn't see during the first connection hour, and all of a sudden now here they're in the post connection hour and they're like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see you, I wanted to say hi to you. And this is the time to be able to do that. And when you give donors that time to do that, to make that connection or network after the fundraising, there is a connection, a shared experience, a shared accomplishments that have happened within there. And people love to celebrate that. People love to be a part of a winning team. And this is a great way you can celebrate that winning team and have that party. Woohoo! All right. So there's our 6, 7, or 8 P's of the paddle raise only events. Now, here's my big ask. Here's my pitch. Friends, on December the 20th, I want to invite you to a webinar where we've been talking for about 25 minutes about paddle raise only events. Well, we're going to be doing a webinar that is at least 60 minutes, might be 90 minutes, because we probably are going to go over. That is going to be packed with information. We're going to dive deep into each one of these different elements and give you actual tips, actual strategies, so that you can host your own paddle raise only event. The link is below. The link is in the bio. The link is in the comments. If you can't find the link, use Google. But we've got them. They're there. You'll find it. It's going to be easy to register. It's free to register. This is our first one that we're doing, but I want to be doing this in 24. I'd love to do this on a monthly, maybe a bi-monthly basis, because there's so many people that have questions about these paddle raise only events. And the title of this webinar is Raise More, Stress Less, Perfecting the Live Ask at Your Nonprofit Gala. And even if you are having an auction or silent auctions or whatever, you're going to learn a lot of information from this, but this is really focused on that paddle raise live appeal only style of event. But yes, please join us on December the 20th, Raise More, Stress Less, the Nonprofit Gala webinar, presented by me and my lovely partner. No, Erin is not here. Erin is working right now, and she will be with me then too, and we're going to have a great time, and we're going to answer your questions. We're going to be live on Zoom, and we're going to be on Instagram, and we are going to be everywhere talking about paddle raise only events. So please, please, please join us there. And if you have any questions from this, please email them to us so we can make sure we include that into our Raise More, Stress Less, Paddle Raise Only webinar to make sure we get all of your questions answered. Because here in this very short episode of the podcast, we glanced over a lot of things. We talked about a lot of things, but there is a lot more that we can really dive into. And Erin and I can talk about Paddle Raise Only events for hours and hours and hours, but we're going to make sure that your time is used efficiently, that you're going to get some takeaways so that you can host your own paddle raise only event. Well, thanks again, everybody, for following us this year here in 2023. You can follow my lovely partner right there, Gala Auctioneer. Follow us at Star Auctions. Follow us at I Inspire Hearts. Follow me, Bobby D Auctioneer, on Instagram. My Instagram followers, thank you so much for being a part of this and joining me live. You can also find us on TikTok. We've got some funny TikToks from Thanksgiving right there. A couple of auctioneers. You can follow me on TikTok as well, Bobby D Auctioneer. auctioneer, and there's some fun stuff that's happening there. But yes, please get out there. If you're listening and you're on one of the podcast platforms, please, I would love you so much if you went in and made a review and told the world what you thought about this great podcast that gives you valuable information on how to raise more money for your nonprofit to make it a better impact. Yeah, please share this with friends as well too, other nonprofit professionals, event professionals as well too. There's a lot of information that's in this to help you raise more money. And that's what it's all about. We want you to have better events. We want you to raise more paddles. We want you to raise more money so that you can make a bigger impact in the world. And that's what it's all about. I want you to aspire to inspire donors to fund your mission. And you can do that. You can do it. I know it because you're awesome. And we're all looking forward to crush 2024 with some epic events and some record-breaking fundraising numbers. And the Paddle Raise Only event is definitely a tool that you can use to make that happen. Again, my name is Bobby D. Thank you so much for listening and watching us on the Heart of the Gala podcast. Keep going out, be awesome, make an impact to the world, and you can do better events. All right. We'll see you next time on the next episode of Heart of the Gala podcast.